I'm going to talk to you about the need for vision for praying for your husband. Since in the weeks ahead, we're going to talk about how we can serve our husbands through praying for them. So I thought it will be definitely appropriate to lay out a vision for our prayer. So today I'm going to talk to you about the benefits, the reasons, the motives, and the fruit of our prayer for our husbands. First of all, I wanted to ask a question. What are the benefits for praying for our husbands? And I think very often we lose the vision and we forget that the main benefit for praying in general even is first of all to grow in our personal intimacy with the Lord. As we draw near to Him, He's drawing near to us. The Lord is not going to share His glory with another. And He's not going to allow us to be satisfied or fulfilled by our husbands, because the Lord wants to show us through prayer that He is the one who fulfills our souls, our desires, and our lives with Himself. He's the one who feeds our souls. So the reason why we pray for our husbands is for the Lord for us to allow the Lord to minister to us through developing a deeper relationship with Him. So again, you would think, aren't we praying for our husbands? Why is she talking about us, me? But that's true. Above everything else, prayer is about you drawing closer to the Lord. And then out of that closeness will flow the fruits of the prayer. So the Lord will be the one who will be fulfilling you in the areas of your life where your husband cannot fulfill you. And later, if you do become a recipient of some blessings that do flow into your life through your husband, whether he will become more loving or more on fire for the Lord, whatever that may be, or maybe you will be a recipient of some kind of blessing from your husband, you would be able to recognize and see it as a blessing or a change that is in your husband that is coming directly from the Lord. You will see, wow, I've been praying for that and the Lord has done this work. So you will be able to recognize that. You will be able to see the hand of God at work. And ultimately, you will be able to say and to see that it is the Lord. He is the one who is actually loving you through your husband. And you also will be able to see that both of you are changing through the power of prayer and through growing closer to the Lord. That's what prayer is all about in just our life. It's growing closer to Jesus. And maybe right now, I don't know your heart, but you can pray and examine and search and see. If your motive for your prayer right now is to change your husband or for the Lord to zap him and get him or get to him, because you want your husband to be the way you want him to be. So if you have that motive right now, it is wrong and selfish. But our motives and desire to pray for our husband ultimately should be to glorify the Lord through showing our love for Him. That's what I was thinking today. I come to the Lord in prayer, not just start begging Him for stuff right away or asking or even just for anything. It's just ultimately to show I love Him. Just to sit in His presence, just as any father loves his child coming to him, just to be with him, spend some time with him. It's a pleasure for a father, and that's why we come to the Lord, is just to be with Him. So our motive should be to glorify the Lord through showing our love to Him as we draw closer to Him in prayer and He draws closer to us. And also obviously showing our love for our husbands as we pray for them unconditionally, without any agenda, or constantly asking for the Lord to change him. No. We want our husbands to experience God by the Lord blessing them in their daily needs. That is the most selfish prayer we can ever say for our husbands, that they would experience the Lord in their everyday needs, how their day plays out, their work plays out, whatever that may be. God's love will and is supposed to flow through you into your husband as you pray for him. And the Lord is actually releasing, I would call it this way, releasing his goodwill towards your husband through you as you pray for him, for his daily needs, for his emotional needs, physical needs, spiritual needs, etc. The fruit of your husband might be eventually down the line your husband's changing. It might be, obviously, because the Lord will no longer love you in secret. And what I mean by that is, you know, when you pray for your husband, obviously it is in secret. No fanfares, no recognition, no applause. And then finally, there will be a breakthrough where the Lord will start loving you in the open. But, and when the Lord will start loving you openly more and more through your husband, his work, the Lord's work, will become so evident to you more and more. It will become more real to you as you will see that the Lord is loving you through your husband. And your husband is no longer going to be on the pedestal that, oh, he does this for me, or he does that for me, or look how he's changing, or whatever that change might be. No, you will see this is God at work. He is loving you in the open now, and you are reaping the fruit of those moments that you invested in secret by praying for your husband. So, the Lord will be the one, Jesus will be the one that will be satisfying you. It will not be your husband, but deep down in your heart, it will be the Lord who is satisfying you by answering your prayers. And at that moment, you might realize that maybe before your expectations for your marriage towards your husband were not really realistic. Maybe they were dictated by the commercials, the novels, the movies, and you just had the Cinderella life vision for your marriage. You know, that was not realistic. But, and also maybe that's why your heart has not been truly satisfied with your marriage or with your husband, because you already had preconceived ideas on how your marriage should play out. But we know that Christ is the one who has created marriage, instituted marriage. So he's the one who knows and is going to teach you in prayer how the marriage operates and what it is all about. He will impart wisdom to you. He will give you a right perspective about your marriage. And maybe in the future, Lord wills, you and your husband will be able to sit down and actually openly talk about life, marriage, your relationship, his wants, his needs, and what he is truly expecting of you when you pray for him in your secret place. Right now, obviously, you will be the one, as we start more and more praying for our husbands, you are the one who is carrying this burden of prayer, of God's burden for your husband as you pray for him. But there will come a moment when you will start sharing that burden, and it will become one. Your husband will carry God's burden for you, you will carry God's burden for him, and you will uplift each other in prayer. For this upcoming week, our homework is going to be for 10 minutes each day to spend some time being still before the Lord. Without talking, without asking him for anything, just sitting. Let all the cares of the world pass by, put them aside, just rest in his presence, listen to him, enjoy, just be saturated with God's presence and listen to him, what he has to say.